Hello and welcome to the cinema. Cathy here in the podcast where my husband Dave and I walk to and from the movies. But today I'm not with Dave. I've ditched him for someone way better. My very good friend and my childhood friend, Eimear and Barry.
Hello.
Hello, Eimear.
I'm from Cork too.
I warned Eimear we have to speak really slowly because we speak really quickly when we're together.
Yeah, and I'm a serial interrupter.
And so Eimear is not only like an old friend of mine and of Dave's, but weirdly, we all as adults have ended up living in Surrey and like reconnecting, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. And Eimear is a mother of 3 kids, which made her highly pertinent for tonight's movie, Instant Family, where Mark Wahlberg and Rose Byrne foster 3 kids. But she's also... How would you describe yourself, Eimear?
Yeah, I was like, can I just say that I have an Instagram? So it's like, I have a problem with the word Instagrammer. I have a problem with the word influencer. Oh, whatever.
But you are an Instagram
influencer.
Whatever.
Yeah. Call me anything.
Influencer on Instagram, which
Online.
is really cool.
Content creator.
Online content creator that you make a living out of that. So she's at Eimear and Barry on Instagram for lots of people who I know are interested. And actually, I can see that lots of people who follow us follow Eimear on Instagram, which is really interesting. Now, we have no Instagram followers. Eimear has like 1 million. But yeah, so Eimear is like a super like extraordinary mom, online personality. I'm so excited to have her on the podcast, and like I really consider you an expert for this movie.
Really? Do
Yes.
you? Did you know that I did filmmaking in college?
I didn't know that, no.
And my dream is to become a cinematographer.
Okay. Well, you can
No,
still
sorry, I
make
just made that up like this morning.
You can make that dream happen. And Eimear actually featured on our Christmas episode, Best of the Year, where she said she hadn't been to the cinema for years, but she was going to come with me this year.
Yeah.
So we're making it happen.
Yeah, and it has to happen more because you just like lose yourself a bit when you're busy tending to human beings.
Yes.
And going to the cinema is like if I have the night off, or off. I forget you saying that, sorry. But I'll kind of want to do loads of shots of tequila instead of going to the cinema. And actually I read something today about that.
Yeah?
It was like I think it was like Molly Gunn, the selfish mother. She was what was she saying? I'm a speed not dater. I'm a speed something, where it's like basically I'm like, okay, right, we have to go out, we have to get drunk, we have to like do this, but it's like
You've one night to do everything.
Could just actually just go to the cinema.
And
like
cinema.
And I love the cinema.
And you haven't been in so many years, you're just going to die basically of happiness.
Exactly. I can't go to cinema without having Coke and popcorn.
But actually, have you ever seen any of the Daddy's Homes movies?
Yeah, I saw one on the airplane actually. Wasn't that impressed, to be honest.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I've never seen them, but I've heard really bad things. So then
Yeah.
the writer-director of those movies has made this. So when this first, the trailers came out and the posters, everyone, including myself, was like, oh, that looks terrible.
Yeah.
And when I initially asked Eimear, it's like, you've got 3 kids, I want you to come on, but it looks really bad. But now everyone's saying, oh, this is like surprisingly good.
Really?
Like everyone, like Rotten Tomatoes is over 80%. Now, I say good for probably what kind of movie it is.
Yeah, because I thought we were going to see something like serious and like really meaningful.
No,
like I really did.
not.
Like, do you remember that movie we said we were going to go and see?
Roma.
No, Roma. Oh, I watched the start to Roma and Daniel thought it was extremely boring, and all I kept saying was, did you notice that there was no close-ups? Okay, did you see Roma?
No, I haven't seen it
Okay,
yet. I'm
so-
embarrassed. But I know it's going to win all the Oscars, so I have to watch it in like
I'm
the
not
next
joking.
week.
So like it's all wide angles.
Okay.
Kind of, yeah. And did filmmaking in college. It's all wide angles.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Wide shots?
Wide shots. Yeah. panning. And it was there was this one scene and I said to Daniel, did you know that they didn't do any close-ups in this movie? And like the second I said it to him, there was like a close-up on the screen. And I was
Oh,
like,
so
okay. And he was like, this is
embarrassing.
boring. I was like, it's not boring. You have to really get into this movie. Yeah, so our taste in movies are, I mean, like he watches like stuff about boxing in prisons, and
you want to watch Roma,
It's-
which is why you need to come to the cinema with me.
Exactly.
But I'm glad we didn't do Roma, because then we would have, as beautiful as I know it will be, we
Yeah.
would have sat in like one of our living rooms and like probably been disturbed by a baby.
Yeah.
But this way we get to go out on our own to the cinema, snacks. But we better go because we're going to miss this movie.
I know.
So we'll see you after. Bye.
Just stay there till the fire department comes, okay?
You're just another white lady who wants to adopt charity orphans to make you feel good about yourself. Pretend mom.
We might have a little bit of a knack for this.
I beg to differ.
This stuff takes time. Lizzie had to parent Juan and Lita all by herself. This is never going to be easy, but with some structure and love, you could make your house a home.
Lizzie!
We love you. Please just go away.
When I'm pissed, you know what I like to do?
Really?
All right, let me fix her, okay?
Thanks, Daddy.
I just got my first daddy. Oh, what the?
You suck! I want some of that. Hey, honey, can I help you with anything?
No.
Right, so we are out of Instant Family.
Very
both
emotional.
wiping up our tears. And we're going to give brief overview on what we thought of the movie until we get to Spoiler Street. So, Eimear, what did you think of that movie?
Well, can you go first, because you said it in intro and you know what I'm like. An intro to me is like 5 minutes long. So what did you think?
I completely surprised myself by basically loving it. I mean, I knew I'd like it because I saw it had such good reviews, but I found it really sensitive and sweet and funny, and I cried a lot, and I loved the cast. I really loved the cast, and I'm not a particularly strong Mark Wahlberg fan, and yet I thought he was great. I love Rose Byrne when she plays an uptight, whatever. The kids were incredible, the 3 kids, and then I love Octavia Spencer, and then the other actress who I didn't know, but Tig Notaro, they played the 2 caseworkers, and I loved her. And yeah, I just thought it was really sweet, and it's the kind of movie you don't see very much of these days. It's just like a mid-level, sweet family comedy, and I cried and laughed a lot, and we were basically crying next to each other.
Yeah, like bawling. It was like, you know when you're sitting in the seat and it's like deep in your chest, that cry, and then like every couple of minutes it's like
yeah, it was pretty deep.
I think it resonates with everybody though. Like every single person that goes to see this movie will be able to relate to it in some way.
Yeah, I think
and
so.
it really, I mean, who can't be touched by a touching family movie? And the thing is, like, the way I say that now, it's like, oh, it's just like family movie. No, trust me, they keep it real in the movie. I don't think it's sugar coated at all, and that is what I loved about it. Because it's, do you know the way there's so many family movies and it's like no, it's not like that, or that wouldn't happen, or that's kind of and then it goes the opposite with other movies. It's like, that would definitely never happen. That's too extreme.
You thought it was like a good representation?
I felt like the whole movie was like an improvisation. I felt like when you were saying about the casting a second ago, it was perfect.
They felt like real siblings, didn't they?
Everybody had a part to play.
Yeah.
And it was exactly like a real family. And yeah, their language in it was just so realistic. So you were able to relate to it straight away, and that's why it really touched me.
Did you feel like watching them having 3 kids and the kind of mania of it? Did you feel like you could relate, or in reality is it way worse than that?
So it was just really relatable for me. Obviously, having 3 kids as well, but I'm not. I'm just really scared of that teenage.
Yeah, the teenage stuff is good. And I love the conversation
really
when they're in bed and they're like, maybe we could just give them back because we just have such a nice life. And we've only 1 kid, and we've kind of lain in bed sometimes going, God, wouldn't it be lovely to have just for a night, your own life back? And I just enjoyed them living that fantasy, and then they're like, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, because that would never happen.
And I think I'm really pleased that they made such a sweet movie that embraced just lovely themes, and it's
but it's done so well in a realistic way.
Yeah.
The way, I totally agree. It is really sweet and everything, but it does show the shit.
It does, and
that's really
particularly
important.
the stuff with teenagers. And also, what I enjoyed is that it's funny. I properly laughed, but it wasn't crass, because lots of dramas can just get really crass and vulgar, and you're actually, for a family comedy, you don't need to do that, because it's funny enough. Rose Byrne's really funny, isn't she, as the mom?
Yes.
I thought she was really good.
Yeah.
And I think it was getting the cinema wasn't very busy because it's a Monday night, but it was getting laughs in the cinema, which is good.
It was, and do you know what? I love a movie that makes me feel every emotion. We were laughing in the middle of crying.
Yeah.
And that's what I love. I love
it
movies.
was so sweet.
Yeah,
but we should get to spoilers on this, right? Spoiler Street. Or do you have anything else to say before Spoiler Street? We definitely both recommend it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
highly recommended. Really nice, funny, sweet, unexpected movie from the makers of Daddy's Home.
Yeah, and I think it's like everyone can relate to the fact that like the way they were parenting as well with the good cop, bad cop thing,
yeah, and the good intentions, and then they're like bribing them. And it made both of us feel terrible by the end and think, God, we should foster people, because like it's so lovely and it's such a lovely message, and like, yeah, it's beautiful. And right, so we are now walking onto Spoiler Street for Instant Family. I don't really have many spoilers, except that there was a bit towards the end where I just felt a bit funny, where like we're gunning for Mark Wahlberg and Rose Byrne to get adoption for these kids, right?
Yeah.
And then the kid's mom shows up again and is apparently like doing really well. And then I thought, I feel really bad now, because I'm like hoping the mom goes back into rehab so that they can't adopt the kids, and that's I felt really weird about it. And then when in fact the mom did end up using again, and then very quickly it was like, oh well, we're a happy family now, and 4 months later we've adopted them. I was kind of thinking,
I think the 4 months was too short.
It was too soon.
Yeah, because all of a sudden the house was renovated.
Yeah.
She was driving. Wait, sorry, I thought you were 15.
The teenage daughter. Though I think once they're 16 in America they can drive.
Oh, it's
but still, 16. You're right. Like 4 months is too soon. Like overall, the implication is,
if that was a year, I would have been like, okay.
Yeah. So like overall, they only had these kids for maybe 9 months.
Yeah,
including the mom trying to get them back.
I totally agree. I felt that. Yeah, the 4 months was.
And I felt weird to be gunning for this woman to like lack
totally.
sobriety.
Yeah.
I just thought it was weird. No, but also I was crying with happiness, so I just felt weird about myself.
Totally, and I was like, what are you doing here? Like, can you just go back now?
Yeah, I was like, damn you. And also there was another scene that I found really strange, and I don't know anything about the adoption or fostering process, but
yeah, I would be very interested in
the very start, like Rose Byrne starts looking into fostering and like ends up on this website where there's headshots of all these kids, and you can just browse a kid you'd want to foster. I thought, there's no way, surely, that kind of
I don't know,
information would be public. I would hope not. You can just browse kids, and then they go to an adoption fair, and but even to be fair, they said like, this is weird. Like, the characters themselves said like, it's kind of like
that's what I liked about again, that's why the realism, that's why I felt like it was like improvisation, because that is so something that we were saying ourselves. Mark Wahlberg was like, this is weird, and it wasn't in a like, this is weird kind of like, this is a rom-com kind of thing to say. No, it was completely
weird. So maybe it's real, and that's why the movie makers were like talking about it. And then one other
maybe
point,
it's like that in America. Maybe there are children on websites that you can look at.
Weird, like. And then the last thing I thought was good that they acknowledged, because they, they're 2 white parents and they end up adopting like 3 Latino kids. Yeah. And he says like, I don't want to make us look like white savior, like we think we're white saviors. And at some point in the movie, one of the kids says, "Oh, you're a white lady, you want to adopt someone." And I thought, I'm glad they've addressed that too, because that could have. So they really addressed all the things I had a problem with. Yeah, except the mom, that we were celebrating the mom going back on drugs.
But they did that on purpose. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which was good, like, because it did really, for whatever people were feeling, I feel like they kind of addressed stuff.
Yeah, they did, because just when we were going, we were both like, we turned to each other for the adoption fair. I'm like,
what's
now,
this?
Just remember, it's a really quiet cinema, right? People weren't listening to us talk. We were like, this is weird.
Yeah. But do you know what I noticed actually about when I went to the cinema? I used to go, when I lived in New York, I used to go to the cinema quite a bit on my own, and they really get involved. Have you ever been in the cinema in America?
No.
What did I see?
Wait, I was, but not in a fancy one in New York.
It was a really like emotional, passionate film. I can't remember what it was. If I said it now, you'd be like, yeah, God, yeah, that movie.
And the staff got into it.
The people in the cinema, like, literally standing up and like, ah! So like,
oh my God, they were
in England,
loving this movie.
That is so interesting, like culturally, like how we are in the cinema as like different countries.
I mean, we were openly weeping, but I don't think everyone else was quite so emotional.
Yeah, but we wouldn't have been like, that's weird, like out loud. Like it's very British, isn't it?
Yeah.
So like, I know we're Irish, but like I feel like Britain's a bit more like hush.
It's definitely a bit more subdued.
Do you know what I mean?
But yeah, we were like going for it last night. I'm so glad we went to see it though.
Yeah, me too.
It's a perfect movie to go and see together.
Oh, like I was not expecting that, Cathy.
No.
Especially with Mark Wahlberg
as well.
Mark
Wahlberg is just like, even though he's a good actor, he's not a sign of quality. Like, he doesn't tend to be in good movies.
I wouldn't be like, he's an incredible actor. No. Like everything he works on is amazing. He just kind of does usually like I don't know everything he's been in, but for what I've seen him in lately, it's like just easy watching.
Yeah.
But this was
And
This
apparently
was
he
really
was a producer.
emotional.
I spotted that in the credits afterwards.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and oh my god, we have to talk about now. I don't know her name. I'm going to pull up IMDb here.
Oh,
the
yeah.
teenage daughter. Her name is Isabella.
Izzy. I was like, it's all Izzy's fault.
Isabella Moner. Oh my god, she's incredible.
Yeah, she's stunning.
Yeah, I thought she was
such a good actress. In
so
that.
good. I mean, but the little kids, like all of them, were so good. But they had such good chemistry, and I love that because like kid acting can go really badly, and like Mark Wahlberg.
Well, like a Modern Family.
Yeah,
like
actress. When the older they get, it's like the worse they get.
Yeah,
often.
totally.
But with Mark Wahlberg, he really made me feel emotional when he was crying. Like he's a good crier. So
Definitely.
That was really good.
Yeah, Lizzie was. What was interesting about her was I almost fell for her when she was being genuine at the start of the movie, but something at the back of my mind was like, I don't trust her. Something's going to go down here. Do you know the way she was kind of being like too nice?
Yeah.
But not in a like, oh hey guys, she was being cool, but she was being nice and
she
not
was hedging
forceful.
her best.
But you just knew, like maybe like 5% of your head was like, I don't really trust her.
And they did set it up quite well at the start. They're like, a foster kid has been rejected their whole lives.
Yeah.
And they expected any minute the rug to be pulled out from under them, so why would they trust you?
Yeah.
And I felt
and
like
of course,
they built all that.
Yeah, of course. Like it was really, again, like just so realistic, and it just makes you think of how unbelievably traumatized these poor children are. But of course they can't bloody trust anyone.
Exactly.
They've been screwed over their whole lives.
And
by
even she's dismissive.
doing-
She's like, you're rich. And they're like, we're not rich, but that's crystal, so don't break it.
Yeah, and what I also found fascinating, not fascinating actually, more I always say things when I backtrack. Okay, maybe I did find it fascinating. Was, do you know, at Christmas when they were giving them their presents, and they didn't give a shit about the presents. They were just like, by the boxes, and obviously, like any parent, it's like, oh, we got you this thing, and then you just like love the box, and that it's not just about the box. Like that means something.
Yeah,
that means so much more. It's like when Daniel makes like little houses out of the box. That is like the best thing ever for the girls.
Yeah,
and even like, you know, what those children had been through in the movie as well. It's like they didn't really care about the toys and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
And they even said like, why you get like something along the lines of, why are you giving us so many presents?
Well,
like,
it just shows, doesn't it?
excessive.
And then the mom was like, oh, did we go overboard? It's like,
yeah,
what? That's just so.
People don't need like 10 gifts. Like it is. I love
No.
it. Honestly, it's a lovely message.
Yeah, it is.
But it's really cold, and like the proper suburban housewives we are, we're actually outside Tesco's and we're about to go into a shop.
Will you believe it or not?
let's
I
walk.
actually am going to do my shopping. What time
Yeah.
is it? Like I'm actually going to do the food shop right now.
Oh my god, it's 11 o'clock. Is Tesco's still
It's
open?
11 o'clock. I'm doing the food shop.
The
Lads,
wonders.
what
So
has
we're
my
going to
life
go
become?
inside. But Eimear, thank you so much for
Oh
coming
my
on.
God,
We've
can we
only
do this
been-
again?
Yes, and we've
Yeah,
only
okay.
been planning this for like maybe a year and a half. So the fact that, to be fair, you were pregnant and having a baby, which does get in the way of the cinema.
I was
Except
drowning.
if you're married to a fellow film podcaster and you weirdly somehow go to the cinema once a week. Like
I feel
me
like
and
I'm
Dave
just
do.
coming out of the bubble now.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
go
god,
more.
it's warm in Tesco's. But yeah, so anyone who wants to follow Eimear's Instagram, which I love, because it's like a really unusual mix of like really glamorous and then like the exact opposite of glamour.
But isn't that life
Yeah.
in general? Like,
So I really enjoy it. I love it. So she's at Eimear Barry on Instagram, and that's kind of mainly where you are, right? You have a website.
Oh yeah, but I don't really do much on the website.
It's all on Instagram,
Yeah.
and it's all about her Instagram stories, really, right?
Yeah.
That. So yeah,
Fly on the wall.
follow Eimear on Instagram, and if
You don't have
haven't,
to.
you
Cathy,
should
stop
though.
it.
And if you haven't already subscribed to us on iTunes, please do. And
Subscribe to them
subscribe on
now.
iTunes.
We're
Leave us-
hurrying each other out.
Yeah, we are. Leave us a 5-star review, naturally. And let us know what you thought about Instant Family. We're mainly on Twitter, so at the Cinema on Twitter. And just let us know what you thought, and if you loved it as much as I did, and as much as Eimear did. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Wow, you really like cardboard boxes, huh? I mean, is anybody interested in playing with a giant dollhouse that took me 3 hours to assemble?
Did it come in a big box?
Yeah, it did. Came in a big $200 box.